Christmas Eve. A dark encounter. Christmas was approaching. My sister Emma and I were, as usual, wrapping gifts in the cozy living room of our small town home. Outside the windows, snow fell gently, and inside, a warm sense of comfort filled the air. The Christmas tree sparkled with colorful lights, and the fire crackled softly in the hearth. But that night, not everything would remain so ordinary. It all began around 11 o'clock. Emma had gone to the kitchen to fetch some tea when she mentioned seeing a strange shadow pass by the window. "I think someone's wandering outside the house," she whispered. "Maybe it's just Jack from next door," I replied, trying to dismiss her worry. But unease began to creep in. Emma glanced out the window again, but said she saw nothing this time. "Maybe I'm imagining things," she added, trying to smile. Yet when I stepped closer and peered out, I sensed movement in the depths of the darkness. The idea of someone watching us lingered in my mind. As midnight approached, the traditional Christmas bells from the town began to ring in the distance. But this familiar sound seemed unsettling tonight, slower and more echoing than usual. Suddenly the doorknob rattled slightly. Emma and I froze, exchanging nervous glances. We weren't expecting anyone at this hour. "Who's there?" I called out. No answer. The knob jiggled again, this time with more force. I felt Emma grip my hand tightly. "Don't open it, please," she whispered. But curiosity got the better of me. I cracked the door open slightly. Standing there was an elderly man dressed in worn-out coats. His eyes glimmered with an odd light as they met mine. "I've lost my way," he said, his voice carrying an eerie tone that sent shivers down my spine. "Could I have a glass of water?" "Sure. Wait here a moment," I said, closing the door again. But as I walked towards the kitchen, Emma stopped me. "No," she said firmly. "He shouldn't be here." I looked at her, puzzled. But she was right. The man's presence felt inexplicable. When I reopened the door, the man was gone. Yet on the snowy ground lay a note. "Those without the spirit of Christmas are already lost." I showed the note to Emma, whose face turned pale. "This might be a warning," she murmured. As the night wore on, the atmosphere in the house began to change. Though the fire still burned, a cold chill filled the room. The lights on the Christmas tree flickered, as if controlled by an unseen force. Emma and I exchanged uneasy glances. "This isn't normal," she said in a trembling voice. At that moment, we heard a tapping sound from the roof. Initially, we thought it was the wind, but the noise became rhythmic and deliberate, as though someone was walking above us. Summoning my courage, I headed towards the attic stairs. Emma hesitated, but didn't want to be left alone. When we reached the attic door, it suddenly creaked open on its own. Inside was nothing but darkness, but within that darkness, a pair of eyes appeared, glowing, yet inhuman. I slammed the door shut and bolted down the stairs with Emma. Back in the living room, we noticed something was off. The stockings above the fireplace had fallen to the ground. The presents under the tree were unwrapped and scattered, yet no one else was in the house. A faint whisper seemed to echo from the walls. "Do not reject the light." We spent the rest of the night huddled by the fireplace, each holding a candle. Until dawn, there were no more noises or movements. But in the morning, we found a box under the Christmas tree that hadn't been there before. Attached to it was a note we hadn't written. "When you find the true meaning of Christmas, the darkness will leave you." Opening the box, we found a candle and an old notebook inside. The notebook contained prayers in various languages and lessons about the spirit of Christmas. It felt like both a warning and a gift. From that day on, we made it a tradition to take out the notebook every Christmas and reflect on that night. Christmas Eve was not just about gifts and lights. It was a chance to illuminate the darkness within our hearts, and we had learned not to let that chance slip away.